Good morning, students. Last class we have recalled the chapter 1. Okay, now in this class we are going to recall the chapter 2. Okay, chapter 2, Kingdom Animalia. So in this lesson we are going to discuss about all the multicellular animals. Okay, present in the Kingdom Animalia, multicellular animals. So how they have classified the organisms. So what is the classification of Kingdom Animalia? Then we are going to discuss about in detail non-chordates and chordates. Non-chordates are otherwise known as invertebrates. Chordates are otherwise known as vertebrate. Okay, we are going to discuss about. So already we have studied in lesson 1 animal kingdom. It is classified based on their resemblance, similar and dissimilar characters. Okay, then kingdom animalia, it is mostly in now we are going to discuss about in eukaryotes, multicellular heterotrophic organisms. Eukaryotes, what is the meaning of eukaryotes? Very well developed nucleus. Then multicellular, millions of cells are present in that particular organism. Then heterotrophic. So heterotrophic, they cannot manufacture their own food. So they can depend the food for another living organisms. So like that this kingdom Animalia, it is divided into 35 phylums. From the 35 phylums, 11 phylums are important major phylums. Okay, then from these 99% of animals are invertebrates. So what is the meaning of invertebrates? Without the backbones. So and the animals backbones are absent. That animals are known as invertebrates. Then remaining percentage, remaining how many percentage? Only 1% of animals are known as vertebrates. What is the meaning of vertebrates? So with the backbones. Okay, on the basis of the backbones or the notochord and nerve cord, so animals are divided into two major groups, that is known as non-chordates and chordates. So non-chordates, absence of notochord and nerve cord. Chordates, presence of notochord and nerve cord. Okay. So in the classification, they have seen the organisms, their fundamental characteristics. Then they have classified the organisms into cellular level. Then that level of organization. Then nature of the coelom. Coelom means body cavity or presence and absence of a segmentation. Notochord and the organ and system of organisms. They have classified the organisms. First one, level of organisms. So in the kingdom Animalia, all the multicellular animals are included. So that kingdom Animalia, it is divided into two subkingdoms, protozoans and metazoans. Protozoans, unicellular organisms. All the unicellular organisms are put together in a subkingdom, protozoans. Then all the multicellular animals are put together in another one of the subkingdom, that is known as the metazoans. So metazoans means multicellular organisms. That metazoans, they can have in a different patterns of cellular organization. In some of the metazoans, it is present millions of cells. The cells are divided depending upon the functions. The cells are divided. Okay, then the metazoans is functionally isolated or similar kinds of cells are present. That cells are grouped together to form the tissues. Okay, millions of cells are present. So which cells are functionally similar, that type of cells are grouped together to form tissues. Then different tissues grouped together to form an organs. Different organs are grouped together to form an organ and systems. So like that, from lower level to higher level organisms are present. First one is a cellular level of organization. So number of cells are present. The cells are loosely arranged, so they cannot form a tissues. Okay. So that cells are, depending upon the function, it is divided. Okay, different types of cells are present. For example, in sponges, it is a metazoan, but the cells are loosely arranged, so they cannot possible to produce the tissues. So tissues are absent, but millions of cells are present. There are different types of cells are present. It is involving in a different functions. For example, in sponges, the outer layer, a type of cell, pinococytes. That cells are present. That cells, it is look like a plate-like cells. That cells maintain the structure and size of the sponges. Okay, then inside this special type of a cell, canocyte cells are present. These cells are flagellated collar cells. Okay, flagella is present, that type of a cell. So this cell, it is helpful to maintain the water flow inside the sponges, and then it is involving in a digestion and respiration. Okay, so like that different types of cells are present in few of the organisms. So that cells are loosely aggregated, so they cannot possible to produce the tissues. So this type of organisms are known as cellular level of organizations. Then tissue level, then similar cells, they can have a same function. It is tightly together to form a tissues. Okay, tissue level. So each and every tissues, it is involving in a for what specific functions. Okay, so that functions mainly in the presence of nerve cells and sensory cells. Okay, nervous tissues and sensory tissues, like that they can produce. So this tissue level of organization, it is present in a diploplastic. So diploplastic, already we have seen what is the meaning of diploplastic. Diploplastic, when the organisms during the embryonic development, they can produce the two germ layers. Okay, ectoderm and endoderm. So that type of animals are known as diploplastic. We can say one of the particular phylum, Cnidarians. Okay, before they have given the name Coelenterata, now they have changed the name. It is known as the Cnidarians. So the Cnidarians only have a first formed organisms. It is present in a tissue level. So organisms have a evolution, so cellular level to tissue level. Okay, then these organisms, they can have in a body plan. So what is the meaning of body plan? So symmetry. Body plan means symmetry. So it is possible to divide into two equal halves. Okay, that is known as a symmetry. For example, we can say for what? Hydra. Okay, diploplastic organisms mostly radial symmetry. So what is the meaning of radial symmetry? We can pass any side, any plan of the central axis, we can divide the organisms into two equal halves. That is known as the radial symmetry. Then organ level of organization. Different kinds of tissues are joined together to form an organ. That organ, it is involving in a specific functions. Okay, different organs are present. That organs, it is involving in a particular functions. So first, after the cellular level, tissue level, organ level is the little modifications of the organisms. Cellular level learn the modification, tissue level learn the modification, organ level. So we have said tissue level, for example, phylum Cnidarian. Like that, organ level example, phylum Platyhelminthes to another remaining phylums. Already we know that, so all the multicellular metazoans are divided into 35 phylums. From that 35 phylums, 11 phylums are important. We are going to discuss about that 11 phylums. Okay. So phylum Cnidarians are tissue level. Phylum sponges are phylum Porifera. Example sponges, that is cellular level. Okay, now we are going to see about the organ system level of organization. So Aschelminthes to Chordata. Okay, Aschelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Chordata. So like that, for what Aschelminthes to another remaining higher phylums are organ system level. Number of organ systems are present. That organ system, it is involving in a specific functions. Then this organ system level of organization, that organisms are triploplastic. What is the meaning of triploplastic? 3 germ layers. Okay, during the embryonic development, it is developed organ and organ system. It is developed in 3 different types of germ layers, that is known as ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderms. Okay, so these organisms are triploplastic. Okay, so 3 germ layers and bilateral symmetry. What is the meaning of bilateral? Only one definite central axis, we can divide the body into 2 equal halves. That is known as the bilateral symmetry. Triploplastic fully bilateral symmetry. Then this some of the organisms, okay, in a digestive system they will say complete and incomplete. So what is the difference between this complete and incomplete digestive system? So incomplete digestive system, only one opening is present. That opening, it is known as the mouth. So the food particles, they can enter through the mouth. Then the undigested waste also they can send out through that only one common opening. Okay, that is known as the incomplete digestive system. Then complete digestive system, two openings are present. Or through one opening, that food particles enter inside. Then another opening, the food particles sent out. Undigested food particles they can send out. That is known as the anus. Okay, mouth and anus. So like that, two openings are present. That is known as the complete digestive system. Askal means to coordinate complete digestive system. Then platyhal means incomplete digestive system. Okay. Then the same for digestive system, circulatory system. Open type, closed type. Open type, blood vessels are absent. The blood, that fluid, it is occupied in the body cavity. So now other organs also they can floated inside the body cavity. Then they can get the fluid. Okay, body fluid, that is known as the open type of circulatory system. Then closed type of circulatory system, blood vessels they can carry in a different diameters. Blood vessels are present, they carry the blood and circulate the blood to each every parts of our body. That is known as the closed type of circulatory system. Okay, then already I have said the difference between diploplastic and triploplastic. So organisms, depending upon the germ layers, it is divided into two. Diploplastic, two germ layers, ectoderm and endoderm. Triploplastic, three germ layers, ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. So each germs, this embryonic layers, they can develop the different types of organs. Okay, different types of organs. Then next we are going to discuss about the symmetry. Symmetry means what? Body plan. We can divide the body into two equal halves. That is known as the symmetry. So symmetry, it is present in three different types. Asymmetry, bilateral symmetry, radial symmetry. Asymmetry, that organisms are irregular in shape. We cannot divide the body into two equal halves. If any plan we can pass, but we cannot divide the body into two equal halves. Okay, that is known as the asymmetry. Example, sponges. Then amoeba. Also we can say the example of what? Asymmetry. The next one is the radial symmetry. Radial symmetry, we can pass the central axis to any plan. எந்த சைடில் இருந்து வேணாலும் நம்ம அது சென்ட்ரல் ஆக்சிஸ் மூலமாக நம்ம இது பண்ணோம் பாஸ் பண்ணோம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னோம்னா we can cut the body into two equal halves. That is known as the radial symmetry. Radial symmetry example, cnidarians, hydra. Okay, we can say. Then another one types also is present in the radial symmetry, that is known as the biradial symmetry. That is known as the biradial symmetry. So biradial symmetry, it is present in between the radial and then in a bilateral. Here that body plans, in any two plans, only two planes we can pass to divide into two equal halves. That is known as the biradial symmetry. Longitudinal plan and then in a longitudinal plan and then in a transverse plan. Okay, we can cut into forward two equal halves. That is known as the biradial symmetry. So mainly in radial symmetry organisms, all the body parts, it is present at the center axis. So if any plan we can pass, we can divide into two equal halves. Okay, but here biradial symmetry, the body plans are present in the central axis. Okay, that is the characteristics of what? Radial symmetry. But biradial, only two central axis we can divide the body into two equal halves. So we are saying biradial symmetry. Then pentaradial symmetry. So pentamerous, for example, we can say in a starfish. Okay, if five central axis we can pass, we can cut. அந்த 5 டைரக்ஷன்லேருந்து நம்ம கட் பண்ணால் நம்ம என்ன செய்யலாம், அந்த பாடியை 2 ஈக்குவல் ஹாஃப்ஸாக நம்மளால் கட் பண்ண முடியும். Okay, that is known as the pentamerous radial symmetry. So can you understood? Then bilateral symmetry, only one definite axis. So mostly bilateral symmetry or triploplastic organisms. Then what? Sepalization. So sepalization means head formation. That organism's head it is developed. Then the sensory cells are present. That sensory cells posterior it is developed into the spinal cord. Then anterior region it is developed into the brain. That brains are located in a head region. Okay, the next one is the coelom. Coelom, body cavity. So again it is divided into 3 germ layers depending upon the 3 germ layers, mainly in the presence of the mesoderm. So the mesodermal lining is lined inside the body cavity. Okay, that is known as the coelom. Okay, so acoelomate, pseudocoelomate and eucoelomate. Acoelomate, body cavity is absent. Pseudocoelomate, false body cavity, that is body cavity is present but it is not lined with the mesodermal epithelial layer. The next one is the eucoelomate. Eucoelomate, body cavity is present, it is lined with the mesodermal epithelial cells. That is known as the eucoelomate or coelomate. Then the coelomate it is divided into 2 types, schizocoelomate and enterocoelomate. So schizocoelomate, this body cavity it is formed in a splitting of a mesoderms. Angana thilicha madri divide ஆன மாதிரி அந்த mesoderm presence ஆயிருந்துச்சுன்னா அது வந்து schizocoelomate. Enterocoelomate, the mesodermal pouches they can produce the body cavity, that is known as the enterocoelomate. Okay, the next one of the character is known as segmentation and notochord. So segmentation, in few of the organisms the body it is divided into a number of repeated units of segments, that is known as metamerism. In some of the organisms the body it is divided into the segments, we can say head, neck, then trunk, abdomen, like that few divisions are present. Okay, for repeated segmentation, metamerism, example we can say the phylum Annelida. Then another different arthropoda it is present in the different segments. The different segments it is involving in a different functions. The head, neck, the trunk, or the thorax or abdomen, like that the divisions it is present. Okay, then presence or absence of notochord it is divided into chordate and non-chordates. So that presence or absence of notochord, the presence of the notochord it is classified into chordata. Okay, presence of notochord it is classified into chordata, but that notochord also it is in few of the organisms it is present only in the embryonic stages. Okay, in few of the organisms that notochord it is converted into the vertebral column. Okay, then in a non-chordate, absence of notochord. Okay, then we have seen that the classification of kingdom Animalia, multicellular organisms. Okay, it is classified into what? 2 subkingdoms, Parazoa, Eumetazoa. Parazoa, all the multicellular, but cellular level of organization. They cannot possible to produce the tissues. So that organisms are present separate phylum. That phylum it is known as a Parazoa. Example, we can say the phylum Porifera, sponges. Then Eumetazoa, multicellular. Then the cells are joined together to produce the tissues, organ and organelle system. Okay, then it is divided into 2 grades, that is known as radiata, bilateria. Radial symmetry, bilateral symmetry, that is radiata, bilateria. So grade radiata, few of the organisms presence only in a 2 germ layers. Already I told no. Radial symmetry na diploplastic, bilateral symmetry na triploplastic. So class grade radiata only 2 germ layers, ectoderm and endoderm. Then middle mesoderm it is present in the jelly-like structure, mesoglia, like that jelly-like structure is present. That organisms are known as diploplastic, and then what? Radial symmetry. Then grade bilateria, then the bilateria organ level of organization, bilateral symmetry, triploplastic. Again this is divided into 2 divisions. Division 1, prostostomia, first formed mouth, platyhelminthes. Okay, first formed mouth, that these are body coelom. These are for what mean, namely it is divided into 3, acoelomate, pseudocoelomate and then schizocoelomate. Okay, then next one, deuterostomia, the division deuterostomia. So mostly 2 openings are present, mouth and anus is present. So mostly the coelom is enterocoelomate, true coelom is present. Okay, the next one, now we are going to discuss about one by one non-chordate and chordate. So non-chordate, it is otherwise known as invertebrata. It is divided into the number of phylum. So mostly 99% are animals are non-chordates, that is the invertebrates. Remaining 1% only for what? Vertebrates. Okay, so non-chordates phylum 1 porifera, example sponges. So mainly 4 bearing. The millions of cells are present, but the cells they cannot be able to form a tissues. The body fully it is present in a small minute pores. Mostly they can live inside the water vascular system, that is the water canal system is present. Okay, then it is indirect development. So larval stage is present. That larva it is known as the parent chimula or amphiblastula larva. Okay, the next one phylum Cnidarians. Before they have given the name Coelenterata, but now they have changed the name Cnidarians. Okay, that Cnidarians they can present the special type of cells, cnidocytes or then cnidoblast. That special type of cell, that cell it is otherwise known as nematocyst, sticking cells. It is present on its tentacles. It is helpful to capture the prey and escape from the prey. Prey na unavu, and then escape from the enemies. Okay, it is using. Then alternation of generation is present. So both sexual and asexual reproduction is present. In they can have one generation they can reproduce in a asexual. Then that next generation they can produce in the sexual. So like that alternation of generation. It is also indirect. Then planula larva. Then phylum Stenophora. Phylum Stenophora. These organisms also they can live only in a water, marine water. Okay, here also it is present in a special type of a cell. What cell? Lasso cells or coloblast cells are present. It is using that cells to capture the food. Then it is also indirect development, present the larva, and the sideped larva. Okay, the next one phylum Platyhelminthes. Then flatworms are included in the phylum Platyhelminthes. Especially special type of excretory cells are present, that is known as the flame cells. It is helpful to maintain the osmoregulation and then in a excretion. The next phylum Aschelminthes roundworms. Example Ascaris, Kiripuchin cholvo. Okay, Ascaris. Okay, so here also direct or indirect development, mostly oviparous or ovoviviparous organisms. So pseudocoelemate. Then phylum Annelida, segmented worm. The body it is divided into a number of repeated units of segments. So some of the organs are present, same organs are present in number of segments. That is known as the metamerism. Okay, metamerism. Then number of examples we have seen. Okay, here also indirect development. The larva is trochophore larva. The next one phylum Arthropoda. Phylum Arthropoda is the largest phylum in the animal kingdom. So because all the insects also, the class insect, all the insects also it is included in the phylum Arthropoda. So here also what? Cephalization. First formed cephalization organisms are known as the phylum Arthropoda. This body also it is divided. So the main thing is jointed appendages, that is the jointed feet is present. It is otherwise known as the appendages. That jointed feet is present in the phylum Arthropoda. Okay, so in its metamorphosis is present. What is the meaning of metamorphosis? So in that they can catch the egg, then the egg to reach in an adult size, look like an adult, in the number of changes will occur in its body. Then finally it is look like an adult. That is known as the metamorphosis. Phylum Arthropoda. Then phylum Mollusca. So phylum Mollusca is the second largest phylum. Then mostly what? They have a muscular feet is present in the molluscus. Okay. Then these molluscas are soft bodied organisms. These organisms also living only in a marine water. Okay, special type of organs are present, that is known as a nephridia. Okay, it is involving in the process of excretion. Then we have seen in a molluscus, one of the molluscus cone shaped snail. Okay, that is they can secrete the dangerous venom. Okay, it is that venom it is causes the respiratory failure, muscular paralysis, and maybe even in the death also it is caused. But no, we have an anti-venom in this type of poisonous snail. Okay, the next phylum Echinodermata. So phylum Echinodermata, spinny skin, that is the peculiar character of this phylum. Then example we can say the starfish, then triploplastic, that radial symmetry. If we can pass any plane, we can cut into the two equal halves. So very well developed water vascular system and tube feet is present. Okay, then oppositely in a ventral side mouth is present and the dorsal side anus is present. Okay, the next another one new phylum, that phylum it is known as a hemichordata. This hemichordata it is present in between the characteristics of echinodermata and chordata. Chordata nuடைய characterum இருக்கும், echinoderms nuடைய characterum இருக்கும். Okay, echinodermata. Then it is divided into three. Head it is otherwise known as proboscis, and neck or it is otherwise known as collar, and then in a gills or trunk. Gills are present in the trunk. So proboscis, collar and trunk. Like that it is divided into three parts. The next phylum chordata. So phylum chordata, what? The presence of notochord and nerve cord. So presence of notochord and nerve cord during the embryonic stages it is present in few organisms. Then that it is replaced or modified into the vertebral column in most of the organisms. That we have discussed. What are the fundamental characteristics of phylum chordata? Presence of notochord, nerve cord and pharyngeal gill slits. Okay, that is the peculiar characteristics, fundamental characteristics of phylum chordata. These parts fully it is present in the chordates. Maybe only the embryonic development or the what? In few of the organisms up to the adult life it is present. This phylum chordata it is divided into the subphylum urochordata, subphylum cephalochordata and subphylum vertebrata. Three divisions. Subphylum urochordata, so mostly they can live in a marine water. Then why we are saying in a urochordata, this notochord is present only in the larval stage. Okay, then subphylum cephalochordata, here the notochord it is present up to the for what? Throughout their life. Their entire life is present. Then subphylum vertebrata, the notochord it is converted into the vertebral column. Okay, again this subphylum vertebrata it is divided into the two divisions, that is known as Aegnatha and Ganthostomata. So Aegnatha again have only one classes. Mostly jawless fish-like vertebrates are present without the paired appendages. Notochord it is present up to the adult. Ganthostomata, jawed vertebrates, paired appendages is present. Here the notochord it is replaced into the vertebral column. Okay, this Aegnatha have only one class, Cyclostomata. Okay, jawless fishes are present. Then Ganthostomata it is present in two types, jawed fishes, spices, class spices, then Tetrapoda. Amphibia, reptilia, aves, mammals are included in Tetrapoda. So it is divided into the 5 classes. Okay, cartilaginous fishes are known as Chanthrothyses, bony fishes are known as Osteothyes. Okay, like that it is divided into the pisces. That remaining classes also we have discussed. Okay, what are the peculiar characteristics? Everything we have discussed in a last class. Okay, in lesson 2 fully we have seen one by one, we have discussed everything. So we have completed the lesson 2. Okay, then next I am going to teach about lesson 3. Okay, already I said no, each and every phylums are very important. So you need to study. They will ask in a 5 mark questions. Already I have sent the study material also. Lesson 1 and lesson 2. You must study and then send your homework through WhatsApp. Okay, thank you.